Hi guys, Dr. Aman here from Arora Medical Education. Just got off a really difficult conversation with a GP trainee. I was literally in the gym, as you can see, and I got called out by this call. And it was a hard conversation. This is a GP trainee who is struggling with AKT. They've taken it once, twice, not passed. They're preparing for their third attempt. And it's a really tough conversation. I've had these kind of conversations with GP trainees. Unfortunately, many times, people who have not got through AKT, and not just AKT, but other exams in the past as well. But this one was about AKT, and confidence levels were shattered. This person was struggling emotionally, feeling that they're not good enough to pass the exam. In other areas, they're great. They're at work, they're great. They're getting great feedback. They're feeling good in clinics. They're doing a GP rotation at the moment, feeling good in clinics. Supervisors think they're doing really well. It's just this exam they're really struggling with, and it's having a huge impact. And they're at the position now where they're about to start preparing properly for the October exam. And they just wanted to, I suppose, bounce off some ideas. And it started off with quite a practical conversation about what kind of things have they used before and what kind of things could they use going forward. They haven't used any of our stuff before, so I guess they've been advised to have a chat with me, see what we can do. But it got much deeper than that in terms of the confidence level. And it was really clear to see the impact that failing these exams really have on people. And you know, there's pressure to now pass this exam because obviously they don't want to delay other things. They've got RCA to do, they've got other bits and bobs in training. They don't want to have an extension. It's kind of getting to that point now. It's having impacts on them family-wise, you know. Then again, these are exams that they've not failed an exam before, so now they're having to explain to people why they haven't got through this exam twice, and it's difficult to explain to family members because their family's not medical, so they kind of think, well, why don't you just work harder? And I can see this person's working really, really, really hard. Okay, when you don't pass AKT once, it could be put down to, okay, we didn't really maybe do enough work. So, but when you get to second time, people put work in. Like when you fail an exam and you go and do it another time, and I've seen this countless times, people then sit down and do the work because they don't want to obviously fail it again. They realize that, okay, first time it was a harder exam than I thought, and maybe I didn't put enough effort in, but second time this person put the effort in. And they still didn't get through, and this one's probably hit them more than the first time. So obviously I had a bit of a chat about confidence and mindset, and we talked about a couple of practical things. For example, having a timeline, like how many weeks are you now between now and AKT? Take 2 weeks off that because you need a bit of a buffer period, and we kind of quickly work through a timeline. Okay, you've got this many weeks left, this many days left, this many topics you need to go through. How are we gonna arrange our time so that we make sure by that 2-week buffer period everything has been done from a coverage point of view? Because when we look back, we realize there's quite a few gaps in terms of coverage. Secondly, we talked about simple things like start with the difficult things first. This person in the past had ignored a couple of areas that they didn't really like, and when it comes to AKT, people have their favorites, people have their non-favorites. Whether it's stats, admin, I don't know, genetics, whatever it might be, everyone has their areas that they don't like, so we tend to leave them to the end. So we flipped that around and we talked about, right, in the next few weeks, these are the 3 or 4 situations, these are 3 or 4 topics that you're going to hit really hard, because once you do those and you realize that actually I'm okay with them, the confidence starts to build. We talked a bit about having a dual approach when it comes to AKT. It's very easy to just do question after question after question after question after question bank after question bank. But the problem with that is technique is not looked at in detail, number one, so you ain't making the same mistakes again and again. And number two, coverage can't be enough. If you just focus on question banks and don't do your background work, your reading, your understanding of material, then you're going to have gaps. Doesn't matter how many questions you've done. So we looked at a strategy where we do a 50%, 50%. So 50% background understanding, working through things, going through material, and 50% doing questions to keep problem solving. What else did we talk about? Mindset. We talked about not worrying about failing a third time, not thinking about the fact that, you know, I've got to pass this because it's too much, and if I fail it, all this stuff happens, because that's when the knock-on effect builds, that's when the stress builds. We talked about having a target, that this is the pass rate is X, I'm going to clear it by 50%. I'm going to be hitting 85, 88%. That's just a given. So you kind of reset your brain to not worry about, well, what if I fall below the mark? It's, well, okay, well, how much more than the mark am I going to achieve? And having that as a target and a goalpost, and something that you kind of drill your brain every day to almost believing that you're going to hit this kind of high 80s. We did a bit of work on that, because mindset, as you know, when it gets to this sort of stage in exams, is so important. You can do the work, but if the mindset's not right, you're not going to be making full impact of your work. So we talked about all these different things, and it was amazing how over that phone call you could hear the confidence coming back. You could hear the fact that, okay, I've got a new approach now. This is not just, okay, do more of the same, but if I do more of the same, my brain's telling me, why would I not pass this time? Why is it going to be different? That's such a difficult thing that I have to sometimes go through when it comes to people struggling with medical exams in general, but AKT in particular. I think the reason I made this video is because there are some really powerful things that I think are useful for other people to hear, because I talk to a lot of people who struggle with AKT who've not passed it once, twice, 3 times, and unless you get a few practical changes in preparation, unless you break things down into small chunks, unless you have little time targets, unless you have a dual-based approach, unless you look at technique as well as knowledge, unless you change your mindset and get your goals to the right place rather than dragging you down, it's going to be, unfortunately, like most people find out, the same story the next time around. So if you're in the situation where you haven't passed AKT once, twice, 3 times, and you're about to start preparing properly again, then please take a few things on your mind. If you want to have a chat with me, please do call me, message me, text me, WhatsApp me, Messenger, whatever you want, email. Happy to go through a plan with you, because look, 20-minute conversation, this person is back on track. We talked about some resources, we talked about what sort of things might help them best. Obviously we have lots of resources, and he was quite confused as to which resources he should use, whether it's the day course, whether it's the online courses, whether it's the audio courses, whether it's the mock exams, whether it's the flashcards. And we looked at how does this person prepare, and therefore what can kind of complement their learning style best. So if you want to have that conversation with me, let me know. I'm happy to do so, because sometimes that little conversation can flip things back on track, because I've seen with people it really knocks confidence, and then we kind of end up in a vicious cycle, and then even the work that you're doing is not doing much because your mindset is not in the right place. If this is you, I hope this is some value. I hope it's helped you in some way. If you're just starting your preparation for AKT and you've never taken it before, then still happy to have a chat with you, because again, if you don't plan things properly, you could be putting a lot of effort in but not building A, confidence, and B, scores. So I'm happy to chat with any of you if you like. I really hope this helps. If you are preparing for AKT, we do have loads of different things that can help. The first thing I would do is make sure you get on our AKT webinars. We do some countdown webinars. The next one is our 2-week hit, which is going to be sometime in October. We have our VTS webinar tomorrow. Lots of free stuff on social media. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Dr. Amin Arora. If you just search it, you'll find us. We have online courses, like we said, we have audio courses, we have mock exams, we have our big immersion day course, which is this Sunday. So have a look, find a way that suits you. But even if you don't use any of our stuff, happy to have a chat with you, because if you don't get your mindset right, if you don't get a plan in place, a timeline, then again, you'll put a lot of time in, but you may not necessarily come out with a good reward. So I really hope this helps, really hope it's of some value. If you want to check out our AKT stuff, have a look at the website, auroramedicaleducation.co.uk, have a look at the AKT section, you'll find everything that we do there. I really hope to meet you on our webinar tomorrow. If you're a GP trainee or preparing for GP trainee, we have our monthly evening national VTS webinar, so please do join that for free. We'll see you on our AKT webinar in a couple of weeks' time. For those of you on Sunday's Big Mock AKT course, the exams went out today in preparation for that course. So if you want to join that course, please do. Otherwise, I hope this has been useful. You know the hashtag, CAMPASSWillPass, hashtag I went with Arora. Have a good day.